I just have had enough. The blatant racism is just insane. And you know what? It ain't coming from the white folk, at least in terms of sports. It's not. You know, I get it. It's veiled. I get it. It's cute. I get it. Dumb people saying dumb things shouldn't bother anybody ever. But when dumb people are very popular and it's very comfortable for them to go on ESPN and just spew racist crap, no matter how veiled, you got to call it out because it's just complete crap. This time it's Kevin Hart and Cedric the Entertainer that are sitting around. One dude can barely speak, and the other dude's trying so hard, Kevin Hart, to be a basketball aficionado, and you can tell just by the way he's talking, he doesn't know his ass from third base. And the other guy, Cedric the Entertainer's too busy eating sausages and acting stupid. He can't even speak. But here they are, talking on ESPN about, well, you can't give Nikola Jokic the MVP. It's bad for the NBA. Let's hear these two idiots.
They do a good job of keeping the ball in SGA's hands, allowing him to facilitate and do what he needs to do, get active, but also embed, or I guess you can say just incorporate the other players when needed, when necessary, into like the flow of the game. But he can take over a game at will.
But you also got to think about the Joker. The Joker.
They cannot give Joker any more MVPs.
No.
The NBA cannot give Joker any more MVPs. It's not good for the NBA. Joker cannot win another MVP. Let's just.
And he's doing his thing.
Can he win another Finals MVP?
Well, that's different. That's playing the game. But the league MVP, I feel like you're right. Like they can't really do that at this moment. And he's having a great year, but it doesn't feel like that dominated year the way I would say SGA is. You made a very great. Man, you know what? I just sided with you, Kevin. You just did it. You just sold me. Anybody show of hands?
Thank you, man.
Anybody else with Kevin? Show of hands?
You, man.
Let me translate for you. Cedric the Entertainer had no idea what the hell he was talking about. He just didn't want a white guy to win, so he went back to, I just sided with you, man. Give me a high five. That's what he did. And the other idiot, Kevin Hart, knows nothing about basketball, but he knows his street cred would go south if he didn't comment on it, so he tried to use words. Like big word, a facility, really? And this is on ESPN. And I'll never understand it. I won't. I'll never understand. I understand putting Kevin Hart and Cedric the Entertainer on TV. I do. They're popular guys. I get it. I mean, you're trying to broaden your fan base. You don't want white people watching anymore. You don't want white people working for you anymore. Look, I get it. We all understand. It's okay. You know, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, to put two dudes on there and then let them spew racist rhetoric, why didn't they want Joker to be the MVP? Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's better? I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. The Joker, you can certainly make the case. Now, if somebody were smart and said, you know what, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's been really good, and the Joker's been really good, and I think it'd be interesting to see who the league voters put in as the MVP, because both have had a massive impact and their records are same in the West. But instead, no, we can't have a white guy. Let me translate for you. At this time. What is at this time? I mean, are we still where white guys can't speak like we were post-George Floyd, where white guys had to shut up? Are we still there? I mean, if we are, just let me know and we'll stop speaking. But I don't think we are anymore. I think we've seen a lot of things that were supposedly true not be true. I know in Indianapolis, we saw a bunch of dumbass thugs burn down our city. Now, you're not allowed to say that, except Ryan Clark said we could. And if some African-American ex-NFL player says we can, well, God lead, then we can. But the fact of the matter is, one guy's on there, Kevin Hart, who doesn't know shit about basketball. He doesn't know nothing, but he's trying so hard because you can't beat Kevin Hart, sell out shows, and all of a sudden your fan base understands this dude doesn't know hoops. At this time. Willie, what is this time? What is this time? I mean, the media in Chicago tried to find another George Floyd with that kid, Deshaun Reed, who started shooting at cops. They tried like hell. Didn't get any traction because people have had enough. People just want the truth. They don't give a damn if you're white, black, green, or purple. They don't give a damn. If a cop shoots a African-American or a white dude, particularly an African-American, unlawfully, then there's going to be outrage. But when a dude shoots at him, hey, look, cop's going to fire back. It's just what's going to happen. So they're trying. But there isn't an at this time. At this time in sports, you look at who's really good and who's not really good. It's a meritocracy, or at least it should be. Well, it is to halfway intelligent people, not some mumbling, stumbling, fat Cedric the Entertainer or some dorky-ass, really a nerd in Kevin Hart trying to be something that he's not. But we understand trying to be something that you're not. But it's all nonsense. It's all garbage. Sports needs to maintain itself as a meritocracy. Look, I know Joy Reid said the other day, hey, baseball isn't diverse enough. Only 6% African American on a 14 or 15% population. Well, so what? Basketball, 75% on a 14, 15% population. Why? Because the dudes in the NBA should be in the NBA, and the dudes in baseball should be in baseball because owners and everybody's trying to win at this time. Really? At this time. Oh, okay. What does at this time mean, Kevin Hart or Cedric the Entertainer? At this time was last year, too, when big, fat, stupid, sausage-eating, racist Big Perk, stumbled and mumbled and dumbed through his racist rant about white media or black media should never vote for a white guy. When's it going to end? When's it going to end where the world goes by, we do on this show. See, on this show, we go by the adage of Martin Luther King. We judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, and it infuriates people. See, white guys aren't supposed to criticize Cedric the Entertainer. They're supposed to high-five him. Because I agree with you. Let's high five. That makes the white guy cool. White guys aren't supposed to disagree, particularly in the media, with Kevin Hart. Why? I have no idea. I mean, if you, and we do, judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, then white, black, green, purple, orange, and yellow should be condemning what these idiots are talking about. But ESPN just goes along. ESPN's all excited, because we don't have to deal with diversity reports or books that say we're not diverse and we're just an old white boys club. That's it. That's all. But I wish, as people are thinking about what others are saying on TV, including this show, I wish you would judge it through the lens that we do. We judge things by the content of character, not the color of skin. Speaking of color of skin, white gas bag Jeff Pearlman. Now, I'll give Jeff Pearlman credit. Wrote a pretty good series called Winning Time. It didn't get picked up. He was online begging, and I mean begging for people to watch. Somehow, some way, Jeff Pearlman is a thing, I guess. He came at me one time, and I'm like, oh, it's Jeff Pearlman. I mean, he's an unhappy loser. He's mad about something. Who cares? But he came at Stephen A. Smith. He came at Stephen A. Smith for his latest appearance on Hannity's show on Fox News. Then the statement is, why does he have to, Stephen A. Smith, have to have an opinion on everything? Well, I'll tell you why, because he's asked. I mean, if Stephen A. Smith's opinions weren't interesting, nobody would ask. If Stephen A. Smith's opinions didn't have value in the broadcast world, no one would ask. But people ask. Nobody's going to ask Jeff Pearlman because he's just an angry white guy. He is. He's just an angry white guy. He made his name ripping on John Rocker back in the day. He made his name doing, I don't even know what. Writes books. I guess he's a good writer. I've never read him. But Winning Time was pretty good. But Jeff Pearlman, here's the answer. Stephen A. Smith has to have an opinion on everything because he's asked his opinion on everything. Here's what Pearlman had to say.
So I did an earlier video about
Stephen A. Smith had to
then
say.
I took it down because I didn't feel like that I conveyed it correctly. And really what I want to say is, why do you have to have an opinion about everything? Like, why are you, Stephen A. Smith, successful by all measures? Why are you going on Fox News? Why are you going on Hannity? And why are you comparing Trump's legal situation to that of the plight of black Americans? It's insane. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And if you did some research into Trump, and I wrote the book about the USFL, I know a lot about Donald Trump and his history. There is no comparison to be made. Black people are shit on over and over and over again. And here's this guy, Donald Trump, and I'm just being honest here. When the Central Park Five were exonerated, he continued to call for their death penalty and refused to accept it. I mean, he's a bad guy. When he had Queens housing, he limited the amount of available units for blacks. Not a good guy. So stop talking like you know, because you actually don't know in this subject. So.
Well, only Jeff Pearlman knows, because 30 years ago he wrote a book. 40 years ago he wrote a book. I mean, of course he knows. You know, Donald Trump was never considered racist, at least by the powers to be in the African-American community, till he ran for president. Here's what Stephen A. Smith had to say that pissed off Jeff Pearlman on Hannity.
When I think about Donald Trump, I think about this case in New York. I mean, I'm looking at the Democrats right now. And again, primarily, I have voted Democrat throughout my life, but I'm utterly disgusted with what I'm seeing, because it seems to me that they're trying to use the law in the courts. They've clearly politicized this thing with Donald Trump, because they can't come up with a strategy to offset the momentum he's clearly gained. In at least 5 polls, he's up. He's up in the polls over Biden, at least 5 polls that I counted. That's the reality of the situation. Despite the counts against them, the indictments against them, being impeached twice and all of this other stuff, he is the presumptive GOP nominee. And you don't seem to have the issues in your favor, you believe. So because of that, you're going to manipulate the system as best as you possibly can to avoid him possibly running for re-election again. That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here to tell you, it's not working.
Of course it's not working. I mean, whether or not some white guy like Jeff Pearlman gets mad about Stephen A. Smith saying that, what did he say that was wrong? He said right there, their strategy is to basically put him in jail and not talk about the issues. And boy, does that piss liberals like Pearlman and others off. Boy, does that piss the liberal media off that can't see straight even a little bit. See, you know, I'm not saying Donald Trump or Joe Biden's any good. I mean, the racist rants by Joe Biden back in his day are legendary. I mean, but Pearlman's not going to mention that, of course, because they have that syndrome. What is it? Donald Trump syndrome or Trump derangement syndrome. They're all out of their minds over Trump, but it wasn't always that way. I mean, the woods is full of pictures with every African-American leader across the country taking pictures with Trump. Why? Because he gave them all money. Trump was the go-to. Hey, Donald, we're running for this. Hey, Donald, we're protesting this. Hey, Donald, we're doing this. Do I think Donald Trump is a bad guy who has done bad things? Absolutely. I mean, all you got to do is know anything about businessmen in the 70s and 80s, and of course. But I don't get my morality, not even once or twice, from politicians. Maybe Pearlman does. Maybe he gets his morality from politicians. I don't. I mean, we've let the most dirt bag of people, Bobby Kennedy. I'm sorry, JFK, Bobby Kennedy. JFK, stooping everything that walks. Yeah, we're getting our morality from him. Ronald Reagan, child please. I mean, George Bush Sr. with a 50-year affair with some woman. George Bush Jr., the cokehead who became president. Don't even get me started on the Clintons. I got a neighbor, I've told you before, is first cousins to Bill Clinton. And every year they come in, the Clintons, not Bill, the family, and they tell stories about how Bill couldn't even be left in a room when he was a young man with cousins that were female. I don't get mine. And I never will get my morality from politicians. And Smith is right. You can't beat Trump on the issues. You telling me the border's secure? You're telling me crime is down? You're telling me prices are down? No, Biden's telling us that, but Biden's sitting there lying. Look, if Jeff Pearlman and others are so freaking just pissed off and going to vote morality, well, part of morality is not being a liar. And all you got to do is open up any app on any day, and you're going to see that Joe Biden lies through his freaking teeth. And one of the other things you're going to see, and we just saw it. Now, an uncle was eaten by cannibals. That's right. An uncle, according to Joe Biden, was shot down and eaten by cannibals. They never found the body. Now, where the hell does that come from? That comes from an evil, ridiculous mind. So if you got Biden and you got Trump, morality ain't in play, boys and girls. It just isn't. And certainly race isn't in play because nobody's been more pandering, nobody's been more racist in the history of modern politics than Joe Biden, period. I'm not here to defend Trump, and I'm not here to defend Stephen A. Smith. But damn, these liberals, they sure get their morality from presidents, from politicians when it comes to very popular, very successful in what they did. The border was shut down. The economy was rolling. Prices were down. Putin wasn't doing nothing. Iran and Iraq scared to death to even make a move. Compare that with now. That's what Stephen A. Smith's saying. Stephen A. Smith is saying, look, if you just go by the damn policies and performance, it ain't close. It ain't close. But guys like Jeff Pearlman, media like Jeff Pearlman, they want to get their morality. Really? I mean, didn't Joe Biden cheat with Jill when they were both married? Isn't that what happened, or is that just made up? Or we don't report that because, well, it's a liberal, and that's what we expect. CJFK. See, man, the greatest of them all, Bill Clinton. He's the Tiger Woods of banging people you're not supposed to bang. He's the Tiger Woods of sexual exploits. Why haven't we seen the Epstein list and know what Billy Clinton was doing? I don't know. By the way, I'm not suicidal. I'm not. Not even a little bit. I got a great life. But it just fascinates me. So we're going to get our morality. That's what we're going to get from politicians. You go, Jeff Pearlman. You keep fighting the fight. Trump, bad guy. He bad guy in the 80s. He bad guy with USFL. Good. I mean, if you know anything, you know that businessmen in the 80s weren't the greatest. You keep preaching, baby. You keep staying away from your guy, his races, his extramarital affairs, his lying, his stupidity, the Joe Biden way. Hey, this is pretty good. This got to piss African Americans off. Apparently, according to the Wall Street Journal, the newly drafted WNBA superstar, Caitlin Clark, will sign an 8-year deal with Nike worth up to $28 million. That's got to piss you off, right? I mean, damn, I know it pisses Steven Jackson, ex-crazy-ass, insane, gun-toting, ridiculous former Indiana Pacer who has a little podcast. I know it pisses him off. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit. But damn, little white girl gets $28 million. Yeah, what about? No, there's no what about. She's getting TV ratings. She's getting people excited. And she sold, listen to this, more jerseys than the WNBA, I'm going to say this slow, has sold in its entire existence. Just Caitlin Clark. More jerseys than the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. All right. Anti-Israel protests. I don't get this. I'll never get this. This is so stupid. Are rampant on college campuses across the United States. Fortunately, some people are willing to speak up, and they're literally happening all across the United States. Cardell Jones went to Ohio State. Cardell Jones won a national championship at Ohio State. Cardell Jones is a good dude. He speaks up when he sees something rotten. Here's Cardell Jones. This isn't the Ohio State University I attended. Never understood how someone or a group of people could have so much hate towards another. I hope behaviors and actions as such is addressed accordingly and allow everyone to be a Buckeye peacefully, proudly, and safely. As always, go Bucks. Let's look at stop. You know, we got all kind of anti-Semitic stuff going on. And it's really disgusting. Here it is. This is out of Ohio State. Now, at Ohio State, the Zionists have to go. Over 95% of Jews globally are Zionists. There's no campus police there. There's no administrative staff there. They're allowing people to harass as they see fit. And this is going on everywhere. I mean, Columbia today had to shut down its on-campus classes. Why? Because of these protests. Seems pretty simple to me. Bring in the National Guard, pick their ass up, throw them in jail, tell their little mommies and daddies to come get their rich little ass. and then we figure it out later. Doesn't seem that difficult to me. But every campus, and this is all copycat stuff. I mean, I saw it at Yale, New Haven, Connecticut. Bunch of dudes in cardigan sweaters, looking like little douchebags that they are, protesting. That Ilan, whatever that lady is from, I believe she is from Minnesota, the one that married her brother or allegedly married her brother. Her daughter got arrested, and now she's crying she's homeless. Yeah, good. All right, good. Go live with your mom and your stepbrother, dad. I don't know what the hell he would be. Step-uncle. Your uncle dad. Your stepdad uncle. Whatever the hell it is. The world is just very, very odd right now. Anti-Semitism should be squelched, and it should be squelched quickly. It should not be allowed to fester. It should not even be allowed to have a presence on any college campus. Look, college campuses, sure, they're for protesting, but not this. Not this. Not even a little bit. Imagine if they were protesting anti-African American. That thing would be put down so fast, your head would spin. What's different? Why is it different? Why is it different that Jewish kids have to be on campuses all across the country and be subject to threats? One kid got poked in the eye with a flag. Why is that? Why are they to be harassed? You wouldn't allow this to damn near any other group. You certainly wouldn't allow this to any other minority group. You wouldn't allow it to African Americans. Don't tell me you would. Not even close. You wouldn't allow this to anybody, but somehow, some way, you allow it to Jewish kids. And that sucks. And I want to know why. I'm always curious about things. I always like answers. I always want to know a little deeper. Why? Why are you, college campuses, Ohio State, why are all of you allowing this to go on? What is it about your school and the administration and the boosters and the donors and the trustees and the chancellors and the presidents and everybody else that is so wicked, so evil that you allow this to go on? Is it because you know there won't be the backlash if you did this, if you allowed this for African Americans? Now, I hate to go into that. I hate to go, yeah, but. That's like everybody when you talk about Donald Trump goes, yeah, but, or you talk about Joe Biden, they go, yeah, but Trump. I hate to do it, but we all know the answer. We do. Why are schools so scared to stand up for their Jewish students, their Jewish alumni, their Jewish donors? Why? Nobody seems to have the answer to that. Nobody seems to have it at all. It's astounding to me. Man, every white dude and every white woman that's in any type of leadership role on a college campus would be condemning. I mean loudly, strongly, pounding their chest, acting like they are the new Reverend Al if this were African-American protest. It's not. It's Jewish. Why? Why do we allow it? I don't have the answer. I honestly don't have the answer. I wish I did. I wish I could give you some insight, but I got nothing. And I paid attention to this all weekend. Nobody has ever said why we allowed this. We've said it's being done. We know it's being allowed. I don't get it, and I'll never get it. I don't get it. It's insane to me. All right, we're going to get to some deportes here, some sports. Former Colorado cornerback Komani McLean says he wants to play for a real program and does not want to play for just clicks. He's talking about Deion Sanders and his little becoming more and more pain in the ass kid. Look, I'm all in on Sanders. I think he's great for football, college football. I think the program was must-see TV until they started getting their brains beat out. But a lot of kids are leaving, and a lot of kids are starting to speak. It's hard in Sanders' defense to coach your kids, man. And he's made it very clear that his kids and Travis Hunter are a little bit different than everybody else. That's hard. That's hard on kids. It's okay at first because you want to get in that group. But as you realize you're not in that group, you go, this ain't so good. All right, let's hear from Komani.
Change the narrative of everyone's thinking on my name. Be a part of a real and a great program that's going to impact me at my best ability. And yeah, ready to get to a new place and get to work. Yeah, I feel like I just don't want to play for the clicks. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. With that being said, that'll wrap up all the questions asked from you guys.
Yeah, well, okay. I get it. I hesitate to criticize Sanders on this because we all know the deal. I mean, a player leaves, he's not happy, blah, 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 blah. We all get it. We all dealt with it. And everybody leaves now. I mean, everybody. I mean, who the hell doesn't leave now? I don't know. People are saying grades are the issue. People are saying all kind of things. I don't know. He only played in 9 games. He was a 5-star recruit. He wouldn't show up at meetings. And that was said by Sanders. Sanders said, look, you got to show up at meetings. You got to show up on time. That's the way it is. Even the kid's high school coach, there's a lot of work I had to do getting him to start doing the right thing. He's a kid that grew up and has always got away with things because how good an athlete he was. This is his high school coach. Florida kids are going to stretch your limit. They're always going to fall to the floor of your standards. Whatever that floor is, they're going to fall to it. That's why I like Deion for Kamari, because I knew Deion wouldn't kiss his butt. See, that's what I'm saying. People can criticize Sanders, but you always got to look, because I tell you all the time, there are 2 sides to every story. So this kid's bitching, whining, and moaning, a real program. Well, you weren't good enough to play in that one. Or you didn't show up on time to that one. And frankly, if I saw that video, I'd say, yeah, we ain't recruiting him. If I were at Texas or Florida or we're not doing that. No enthusiasm. Nothing he brings to the table other than excuses. Danny Hurley talked about that when we had him on a week or so ago. About, I don't need, actually, John Gordon calls them, what is it, energy suckers or energy, I don't know, whatever it is. That's what that goes. I want somebody that's bright-eyed and ready to go. But they got to be good enough. Yeah, I don't care if you're bright-eyed and ready to go and you're 3rd-team all-conference. Yeah, I don't need that in my life. But if this guy's any good, it's a ways away. I'll bet you money that this guy goes to a program that's really good. And I'll bet you money he doesn't do nothing for at least a few years. I'm not saying ever. I'm saying you could tell by that kid. He got a lot of thought about himself. He got not much enthusiasm. And he appears to me to be an energy vampire. That's the word. Yeah, an energy vampire. We don't need no energy vampires around. Well, he's just a young kid. All right. Well, he's a young kid who's criticizing a Hall of Fame football program or player that's running a program. So you do that, you're opening yourself up to criticism. Dude didn't play, and when he played, he didn't play well. Dude wouldn't go to meetings. Hey, even his high school coach says he'll always go to the bottom. He'll give you whatever the limit is, he'll give you the limit. You don't need him. No. Nope. And I ain't mad at Deion Sanders. If that kid's criticizing you, then you're doing okay. I'm sorry, but you're doing okay if that kid's criticizing you. Hey, Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler won this morning. Yesterday, I don't know if you were watching out in Hilton Head, but it was raining, it was windy. They ended up delaying the tournament a couple times. Scotty Scheffler hit a mud ball into the water, still made a par. Scotty Scheffler's been on an absolute heater. He won $3.6 million. He's won $16 million in the span of, let me get this right, 44 days. A cool $16 million. That's almost what Jaylen Brown gets for just showing up. But Scotty Scheffler isn't the hottest golfer in the sport. I happened to turn the TV on yesterday, and Nelly Korda joins Annika Sorenstam and Nancy Lopez to be the only players to ever win 5 LPGA tournaments in a row. I didn't know that her dad was Peter Korda. Peter Korda won a major. I think he won the Australian Open in tennis. I remember Peter Korda. Peter Korda was a stud. So I turned it on yesterday, and I'm catching the last few holes. And Nelly Korda is in the fairway on 18. I don't know. It's probably 190-yard shot downwind, par 5. She had a big drive, so she had 190. It was only like a 480-yard par 5. All right. So she's got to sit there and wait because apparently women in the LPGA just pay so sleek and slow. Now, if that's sexist, sorry, but it's the truth. Like, apparently, they're like, it was a 5-hour round playing threesomes. 5.5, actually, by the time they got done, maybe closer to 6. It was painful. I mean, women grind it like Tiger back in the day. Every one of them does. But anyway, Nelly Korda's sitting there in the fairway. She's kind of relaxed. She's kind of sitting down because, well, she knows who's playing ahead of her. She gets up. She rips a 7-iron right in the middle of the green. 2-putt birdie, tournament over, and she wins a major. It's kind of the same thing. Scheffler, 5-shot lead, gets a mud ball just before when they came back from a suspended play, pulls it into the water, goes up, knocks it to 15 feet, makes a par. Unbelievable. Goes on to win. And you got to say that right now, and I know this is blasphemy, but he's won 4 of his last 5 events, and the one that he did not win in Houston, he missed a 5-footer to send it into overtime. They call it playoff in golf. I like mixing my sports. Pisses people off. Well, you don't even know, Dakich. Dakich, you don't even know what the sport is. Now, I know what the sport is. I know exactly. But Nelly Korda dropped 5 in a row, and I got to tell you, she's fun to watch. She don't look like the biggest. She don't look like the strongest. All she does is, dominate everybody. Everybody. She shot 3 under, and that was good enough. 3 under in the final round, and that was good enough. She is fun to watch. Scheffler's really fun to watch. Now, I know people are bitching, whining, and moaning. He's not that interesting. But let me ask you a question. What's not interesting about a guy that wins every night out? I love dynasties. Like, I don't want to hear about the greatness of the San Diego Padres. I don't want to hear about the greatness of even my Chicago Cubs. No, I like dynasties. Yankees, Red Sox playoffs, October, I'm watching. I don't even care about Houston. It seems boring to me. But there's something about dynasties that I like, and we're seeing dynasties. We're seeing dynasties in golf right now that maybe we have not seen, maybe ever, at the same time. When Tiger Woods was rolling, I can't even tell you who the hell was playing women's golf. But this, 4 out of 5, 2 in a row, first time since Bernard Longa in 1985 to go ahead and win Augusta and then come on over and win at Hilton Head. Are you crazy? That's fun stuff. That needs to be discussed. I'm just saying, if you're going to be a sports fan, you got to be digging what's going on in golf. Now, I don't know what's going on with Scottie Scheffler. Everybody says his wife's getting ready to have a baby at every minute. She was there watching. Didn't look like she was getting ready to have a baby. She was pregnant, but hey, what are you going to do? I think that story got overblown, and I was happy to participate in overblowing that story. I got no problem with it even a little bit. Back to our lead story. Comedian Kevin Hart and I guess comedian Cedric the Entertainer showed exactly how racist they are. They're saying Nikola Jokic cannot be the MVP of the league at this time. That's crap. Let's hear from these two idiots.
They do a good job of keeping the ball in SGA's hands, allowing him to facilitate and do what he needs to do, get active, but also embed, or I guess you can say just incorporate the other players when needed, when necessary, into like the flow of the game. But he can take over a game at will.
But you also got to think about the Joker. The Joker.
They cannot give Joker any more MVPs.
No.
The NBA cannot give Joker any more MVPs. It's not good for the NBA. Joker cannot win another MVP. Let's just.
And he's doing his thing.
Can he win another Finals MVP?
Well, that's different. That's playing the game. But the league MVP, I feel like you're right. Like they can't really do that at this moment. And he's having a great year, but it doesn't feel like that dominant year the way I would say SGA is. You made a very great. Man, you know what? I just sided with you, Kevin. You just did it. You just sold me. Anybody show of hands?
Thank you, man.
Anybody else with Kevin?
Terrible.
Show of hands?
Thank you, man.
You made a very great. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. That fat guy, Cedric the Entertainer. He had no idea. You made a very great. Oh, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so I'm going to bail out. I just sided with you, Kevin. High five. Yeah. Well, very great. What, dipstick? I mean, just two really stupid guys. Kevin Hart trying so hard. Facilitate. Incorporate. Oh, shut up. You didn't know what you were talking about. I had no clue what he was talking about. None. Zero zip. None. And Cedric the Entertainer, well, he literally had no idea what he was talking about. He just knew it was time to be racist. Both of them knew, hey, wait a second. Ding, 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 ding. It's race time. Time to be racist. Let's go. Let's go. That's what they did. That's all they did. Why isn't it time to give Nikola Jokic the MVP? Because he's white? I mean, certainly been good enough. Certainly led his team to enough wins. Certainly been dominant enough. But it's not time? Oh, okay. Why not? Why not? Now, that's some funny stuff. What is this? What is this? The aftermath of the George Floyd riots where all white guys can't do nothing and we all got to sit there and go, oh, my God. I better not say nothing. Oh, my God. No, not quite. No, it is time to give Jokic the MVP because he is the MVP, and he might be the MVP from now until the end of time. All right, when we come back, I got a lot of more, as Clubber Lang said, in Rocky whatever. Scotty Scheffler, you the man. Indiana Pacers, oh, my God, you got to show up. You got to show in the playoffs.